Take your mind into the wonderful world of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kinetic Hour. Conversations with you and guests. With your host, Kenan, Wesley, Mason. That's me. The next person that I want to read about is someone that many of you, if not most of you, already know about, or at least have heard of him. Many people from my generation have heard about this man. His name is Dr. George Washington Carver. Dr. George Washington Carver. You know, people look at him as the Peanut Man. The Peanut Man. I'm going to pull up his picture here on the screen. And I'm going to just read a passage from his life and story. And again, these are short summaries of some of their accomplishments and things that they were going through during their lifetime. We have here George Washington Carver. He was known as a botanist, a master botanist at that. He was a genius, an agricultural genius, period. He was so genius that the titans of industry called on him for answers. You know, he and Henry Ford, they were really close friends. And George Washington Carver helped not only him, but other titans of industry at that time, because he knew agriculture and he knew how to conduct certain or put together certain formulas for industrial purposes. So we have George Washington Carver. When George Washington Carver died on January 5th, 1943, he was one of America's most honored scientists. From his modest laboratory at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, George rescued a dying agricultural economy in the South by helping to institute methods to replenish the soil, thereby increasing crop production. He discovered hundreds of products that could be made from the peanut, the sweet potato, and the pecan. I love sweet potatoes. And became an authority on plant diseases. He was also a role model for many African Americans who were struggling to lift themselves out of poverty through education. Get that out of there. Born on a plantation in Diamond Grove, Missouri in 1860, George was still a baby when he, his mother, and sister were kidnapped by a band of night raiders. The plantation owner got George back in exchange for a racehorse, but George's mother and sister were not recovered, and George never saw them again. As a child, George spent most of his time in the woods, studying flowers, insects, birds, and animals. He was 20 years old when he finished high school and had overcome many hardships to do so. Because of his excellent academic record, a university in Kansas offered him a scholarship, but when the president saw that he was Black, he turned George away. Finally, Simpson College in Iowa accepted George as the school's first Black student. A few years later, George transferred and became the first Black student to attend the Iowa State College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts. In 1894, a proud George Washington Carver was rewarded for his hard work and determination when he received his Bachelor of Science degree from Iowa State College. He was then offered a job there teaching botany and agriculture and overseeing the greenhouse. 2 years later, George earned his master's degree in agriculture. In 1896, Booker T. Washington, the Black leader and founder of Tuskegee Institute, let me start over. In 1896, Booker T. Washington, the Black leader and founder of Tuskegee Institute and leading college for African Americans, asked George to head the school's agriculture department. George accepted. He remained there for 47 years, earning honors for himself and for the school he loved so much. That's Dr. George Washington Carver. A brilliant man, a brilliant botanist, and just a brilliant individual, very soft-spoken. If you've heard George Washington Carver speak in some of the old clips, you know that he had a very light tone in his voice, similar to Michael Jackson. He was very soft-spoken, but very intelligent, and and a genius. Again, many of the titans of industry respected his mind. And for me, on a personal note, when I was in elementary school for my 5th and 6th grade year, I went to George Washington Carver Elementary School in Long Beach, California, which was very different for me because at that time, we're talking mid 80s, the 1980s, mid 80s. It was very new for me because I came from an elementary school. I went to Burnett Elementary School in Long Beach, which was so culturally diverse. You know, we kind of got along with everybody. And not that I didn't get along with people at Carver Elementary, but because of the part of Long Beach that it was in, most of the students predominantly were Caucasian. Because of the part of Long Beach, it was right on the border pretty much of Long Beach and Lakewood, California. And at that time, most of the people that lived in the neighborhoods were Caucasian. Most of the Black students and Latin students and Asian students were all bused. Either they were bused, or in my case, I was dropped off because I was dropped off by my mother, before she went to work, because they had a daycare center within the school, which was to her advantage. And they would watch the students until their parents would come and pick them up. But it was different for me because, again, most of the students that looked like me didn't live in those neighborhoods. So it was very different for me being around so many students that were predominantly Caucasian. And I got along with all of them just fine. I remember there was this one student, and we kind of hung out all the time. His name was Chip. His name was Chip. And, we played kickball and all this stuff. And we were real close at the time. Another person I was close to. His name was Mark. Mark Valenzuela. I see him from time to time on Facebook. And these were people that I would hang out with, and we just got along really, really good. This was just in our, what we would call now our tween years, right before adolescence, or just on the cusp of when adolescence was just getting started for all of us. And it was a great time. I have great memories of being there at George Washington Carver Elementary School. Yeah, it was a fun time there, being kids and having little childhood crushes. And, it was fun with all the students. Matter of fact, I think I have, if I can reach over here without taking these off, maybe I can reach over here. Yeah, there we go. And I still have this to this day. And I kept this, and you can see this right here. This is from, you can see it says Carver right there, and you can see the year there, 1986. 1986, Carver. It just popped into my head, and I remember that I had this. And this is pretty amazing here. In memory, and I'm looking on the inside here. Carver Elementary School yearbook. This is the yearbook presented by the Carver PTA, Parent Teacher Association, and they dedicated it, this specific year, they dedicated it to the memory of Alan Power, playground director and friend. I have his picture here, Alan Power, who I do remember briefly. I do remember him being around in the school. But yeah, this is pretty, just looking through all this, I remember a lot of these students here. And again, this is from the mid 80s. And here I am here because I was a taller student at the time. I had to stand way in the back here, and you could see me way back in the back. Oh gosh, this is amazing. And I'll just put this up here. You won't be able to see a lot of the students there, but I can hold it up as close as I can. I don't know if you'll be able to see me way in the back there, standing up, the tallest one in the back there. And those are all the students there and this was during my 6th grade year. This was during my 6th grade year. And let's see, there's my name right there, K Mason, row 4. But yeah, George Washington Carver Elementary School, and I have great memories of being there for the 2 years that I was there. I'm not sure what the dynamic is at the school now, but at that time, it was kind of a culture shock because it was different. It was different, and also, I'm just reading one of the comments here. Okay, it's Big Truck commenting on my Black history information, but yeah, George Washington Carver Elementary School. I attended there for 2 years, And because at that time, elementary school was K through 6th grade, as opposed to now for all students, it's K through 5th grade. And then junior high or middle school goes from 6th grade to 8th grade. And then high school is from 9th grade into 12th grade. But at that time, it was K through 6. And then junior high for the Los Angeles School District was 9th grade through, or 7th, 8th, and 9th grade was considered junior high, or what's now called middle school. And then you had high school at that time, which was 3 years of high school, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. But now high school is 4 years, just like you would if you were to go to college, 4 years. Freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So I do have some great memories of Carver Elementary School. And a lot of stuff actually was happening at that time. We see some of the teachers. Oh, this is when we were going to 6th grade camp right here. And that was my teacher right there, Mrs. Bagstad. Wow. And there's all the kids there. And at that time, it was some other things that were going on that I think were highlighted in here. Matter of fact, the main thing, one of the big things was the Space Shuttle Challenger. The Space Shuttle Challenger, that was big news at that time. The Space Shuttle Challenger that exploded in midair about a couple of minutes after takeoff. So that was pretty big news. Again, this is 1986. So I'm just going through this. And I just found right here, here's my here's my name here. I guess this is for let's see, what is this for anyway? All About Us. Okay, so this is just us telling about ourselves, and this is my 6th grade mind at the time. Kenan Mason wants to get a good education so he can get a good job. He would like to become a famous basketball player, and in his free time, he likes to play video games. The Carver Carnival and being Super Citizen are his good memories. He would like to see the way hockey is played changed. I guess because of all the fights that I used to see on the news. Again, this is my 6th grade mind at the time. And at that time, yeah, I was playing a lot of video games. Mid 80s, at that time, I was an Intellivision person, while most people were Atari people. So I was always the different one. When everybody had Atari, I had Intellivision. And I had ColecoVision. When everybody had Nintendo, I had Sega. So yeah, I do have fond memories of that time. George Washington Carver Elementary School. But this book here, and I'm going to highlight some more figures that made some tremendous contributions to not only African American culture, but just American culture in itself. And this is a great book. I'll just hold it up again. It's called Book of Black Heroes, Scientists, Healers, and Inventors, an Introduction for Young Readers by Wade Hudson. It's a great book, and I'll be highlighting some more individuals next time I come on the Kinetic Hour as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. And as far as I'm concerned, Black history is American history, and it should be celebrated every day, just like we celebrate all the other, quote, people that we love highlighting. Matter of fact, this weekend is President's Weekend. President's Weekend. And President's Weekend meaning Presidents George Washington and good old Abe Lincoln. Those are the two presidents that are typically highlighted during President's Weekend. And African American, or what we call Black History Month, used to be called Black History Week once upon a time. They didn't even want us to have a full month. So we had a week to learn about our own history and our great contributions to this land here that we call America. So I'll be going into that more in the next episode of the Kinetic Hour. As always, go and subscribe, click thumbs up, leave your comments, tell everyone that you know to tune into the Kinetic Hour. And there's always great information. I'm going to be bringing more information. Again, more guests. And I invite, it's an open invitation to anyone that wants to come on. I've already had a bunch of guests on for 2023. So for this year, I definitely want to have more guests. I've had Big Truck on. I'm working on getting a few other people on right now. Before and after Black History Month is, or before Black History Month is over, and after Black History Month is over as well. Because again, from my position, Black history should be talked about all the time. Because guess what? A lot of the things that we use on a daily basis, we don't even consider. They were created by people that look like me. People that look like Jewel Plummer Cobb. People that look like Dr. George Washington Carver. People that we, things that we take for granted every day. And I'll be highlighting more of those in the next couple of weeks as we do more episodes. So once again, thank you for tuning in to the Kinetic Hour. It's always fun to do these shows. I'm going to start doing more shows more often. Try to squeeze in doing these shows in between clients. But I always have a good time doing this. So again, tell everyone you know to tune into the Kinetic Hour. Until next time.